story of how I dropped out of school and made my first $1 million. Hi, I'm Kong, and this is me when I was growing up. And this is me as a cute Asian baby. For my entire life, I grew up dirt poor. These are my parents. The three of us lived in government-funded housing, literally known as the projects. After my dad fought in the Vietnam War, we essentially won a lottery to be able to come to America as immigrants. Since Vietnam is a third world country, my parents didn't have many opportunities to build a great life. So when we moved to California, the thing my parents wanted more than anything else in the world was for me to make the most out of those opportunities. To them, that meant watching me become a doctor. But here's the problem. See this face? Yeah, this is the face of somebody who had absolutely zero interest in pursuing a medical degree at all. So I had a tough decision to make. Follow a career path that I knew would make me unhappy just to make my family proud, or pursue my own passion, entrepreneurship. But nobody around me was prioritizing their own happiness. This was one of my best friends from college, Devin. I'm censoring his face because if his employer sees this, they'll probably fire him. He chose to become a pharmacist because that's what his family wanted. And this is how he feels about that decision today. As I've grown older, I've realized that society doesn't care what you're passionate about. Society wants you to do what everybody else is doing. It wants you to do what's safe and what's realistic, what's practical. Society is more concerned about what sounds good than what really makes you happy, even if what sounds good actually makes you miserable. The worst part is, if you follow what society says and it ends up feeling like a prison sentence, you're expected to accept that this is your life now. A typical 9-to-5 means you're working 40 hours a week. But don't forget to add the 1 hour of commute to work, the 1 hour commute back, and the 2 hours you spend each night watching Netflix to de-stress from your job. And then there are the weekends, which are supposed to be your time to do whatever you want, but instead, you're spending your time trying to ignore the fact that every second that goes by is a second closer to Monday, and the endless cycle starts all over. If you factor in sleeping 6 to 8 hours, how much time is left for you to actually focus on the things you want to pursue? Not much. That's the crux of the issue. Working a 9-to-5 doesn't mean you just work 40 hours a week. You live that reality 24/7. I wasn't going to let that happen to me. I chose business as my major in college despite the backlash from my entire family. I chose to start multiple businesses with my friend Jesse, even when they failed over and over. I chose to do the unthinkable. Drop out of college in my last semester to build a YouTube channel that would change my life. I chose not to let anyone dictate how my life should be lived. And because of that choice, I've been able to become my own boss, work wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and use my passion for self-improvement to build a multi-million-dollar business. You might be wondering how a disadvantaged kid like me, destined to follow the path society had laid out for me, was able to break free from the 9-to-5 nightmare. I owe all of my success to one powerful secret. A secret that enabled me to build a passion-based multi-million-dollar YouTube channel from scratch, and start 5 other successful YouTube channels with a total of over 1 billion views. This is the secret that almost all social media influencers are using to make money online, even with seemingly small audiences. I'm going to teach you this concept in this video in just a few minutes. But first, you need to understand why I made this training series. Alright, so right now, I'm doing something that I would never have been able to do if I were still at my 9-to-5 job. I am headed to a big mansion that we rented out for 8 of our students from Viral Academy. We're going to spend a whole week and basically just brainstorm, collaborate, share ideas, share secrets and insights, primarily to help each other take our careers to the next level. Hello? Hey, what's up, dude?
What's going on?
It's been a while.
What's going on, man?
What you been up to?
Just working. It's getting to my head.
I was making a song for you. I can't show you until later.
Question. What are you going to be doing on Tuesday?
I don't really have anything planned. What do you have in mind?
So I'm thinking about having a retreat. How would you like to come to a big-ass mansion that I'm renting out, completely free? Don't laugh until you've heard the whole thing. We all come together, share secrets, talk to each other about problems, issues, help each other out, and I want to record it for the upcoming launch of Viral Academy. Alright, so are you in or what?
Oh, hell yeah, that sounds great, dude.
I think that sounds amazing. I'll see you there.
Dude, let's do it. Just, do you know where it's gonna be?
Yep. Here. Each of the students you're seeing here used to have a shitty job that they weren't passionate about. A job that made them feel unfulfilled, depressed, and hopeless. In 2016, Jotna lost her job and had no way to pay off the tens of thousands in student debt she was drowning in from business school. Now, she's debt-free, making a full-time living from her DIY makeup channel with over 500,000 subscribers. Lori used to come home from work every day, questioning her own sanity. She'd spend 40 hours every week refinishing old furniture, a job that was a total waste of her creative talents. But she felt chained down to this job because it was her only source of income. Now, she's known as the Icing Artist, the face of a six-figure baking YouTube channel with over 2.5 million subscribers. She now has the complete freedom over how she works, when she works, and what she works on. Andres worked a monotonous job at a local coffee shop, where all he did was punch in orders in a computer all day. That's a job that a machine could do. Then, he took his passion for music production to create Imaginary Ambition, a channel with over 11 million views. Christian worked a 9-to-5 in a retail store where his job, for 8 hours per day straight, was to re-rack piles of clothes that other people left on the floor in dressing rooms. Then, he used his interest in fashion to create a YouTube business generating over $150,000 per year, and he's only 20 years old. Sven was a freelance video editor who had absolutely no creative freedom over his work. He'd pitch dozens of ideas to his clients, but they always wanted to do things their way. Fast forward a couple years, and Sven now has 100% freedom running his video editing YouTube channel with over 150,000 subscribers. Not too long ago, Adriel began his 3rd year of chemical engineering in Taiwan, a topic he didn't love but would guarantee a high-paying career. But the 7 hours a day of studying and the stressful all-nighters spent cramming for exams made him see that money would be meaningless if he had no passion for what he was doing. Once he realized that, he started a Mandarin fitness channel that now has over 150,000 subscribers. For most of his life, Olivier's passions were considered a joke. His teachers dismissively told him to quit drawing in class because he'd never get a job doing that. Now, he's proving the haters wrong with his animation channel that has over 600,000 subscribers and over 100 million views. All of our students have different stories, but their common thread is simple. They all hated their jobs. And this is not an isolated coincidence. The vast majority of people in the world feel the exact same way.
Well, with nearly 15 million Americans unemployed, people with jobs know that they're really lucky just to have work. But in this tough economy, being employed doesn't necessarily mean satisfaction professionally. One survey found that just 45% of people are satisfied in their job these days. That's the lowest number in 2 decades.
This is a study that Gallup conducted. They asked people questions like, do you feel your opinion is valued at work? Does the purpose of your company make you feel like your job is important? Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? They asked these questions to determine how many people are passionate about their job. The result? 85% of people are not. That's disturbingly high. Why do so many people accept that? Well, they accept this life of mediocrity because they don't know if they can make a living doing what they're passionate about. Or they're afraid to quit their job, or they're afraid of what their family will say. But the reality is, you shouldn't accept a life like that. A life where you spend 1/3 of your waking hours doing work that's unappreciated, boring, uninspiring, restricting, and unrewarding. I know this because that's exactly how I felt about my job working as a Starbucks barista before I discovered how to make a living with YouTube. I was serving coffee, cleaning toilets, all while being a miserable college student. There was nothing special about me. Like most others, and probably like you right now, I was just trying to get by.
There was no drive to come to work every day. There's nothing that's like, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I'm excited for this. It's just like, another day, another work day. And I feel like that I knew that's not something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But at the same time, I couldn't really figure out what I could see myself doing for the rest of my life. I think doing the same thing day in and day out, working a 9-to-5 job, no matter what it was, just seemed so exhausting and like nothing. It seemed like something I couldn't look forward to doing.
Before I started YouTube, I was doing my undergrad in chemical engineering in Taiwan. Engineering is not what I thought it was. I couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life.
Inside, I felt stuck because I was like, I don't want to do these jobs that aren't as meaningful to me for forever.
I was at a point in my career where I had a lot of work, but it was always long hours and projects that I wasn't really passionate about.
It was very frustrating. I felt as if my life was extremely static. It just wasn't satisfying at all for me.
And I wanted to be more in charge of where I work, when I work. Like, I didn't have the opportunities to pick the projects that I was passionate about, so I had to create that opportunity for me.
I knew I had to change something, but I just didn't know, because society makes you feel like you need to work a corporate job. It makes you feel like you need to have a 9-to-5, and if you try to, get your way out of that, they make you feel almost unsuccessful or kind of just like abnormal. So I knew I had to make a change, but I just didn't know how to.
If there's one thing all successful YouTubers can relate to, it's the moment that they realized not pursuing what they really wanted to out of life wasn't even an option. Because the alternative was too painful. It's too painful to spend your life helping someone else accomplish their goals when you could be accomplishing your own. And for me personally, sometimes I look back and I can't believe that just a few years ago, I was in that position too. The fact that I ended up creating an online business making millions of dollars a year is still mind-blowing to me. And this wasn't some complex business with hundreds of employees and years of work. This was me and my best friends, 2 college dropouts, following our passion for self-improvement. YouTube has basically allowed me, freed me, to build a life the kid cleaning toilets at Starbucks for an hourly wage would never have imagined. Now, my students are using it to do exactly what I did. They're pursuing their own dream lives.
In my life prior to YouTube, I had no sense of direction. I wasn't working hard enough to accomplish anything that would find value to me in the future. And after YouTube, I realized that it really hit me that if you really just work hard for something, you can achieve whatever you want.
I think the biggest change in our life so far is freedom.
Yeah.
Both with time and financially.
In general, we're just happier.
Yeah.
We have the time to do things and we're working towards our own goals and not somebody else's. We're just happier about life.
Now that I'm not working for someone else, I can actually choose when I can take my days off. I feel so thankful every single day that I'm doing something that I love.
All of these students followed the same step-by-step framework to go from being totally unfulfilled with their lives to living their dream lives. And today, not only will you hear their stories, you'll also learn the first step of that exact framework. Remember how I mentioned a life-changing concept earlier? Well, it was invented by this guy. This is Kevin Kelly, writer, photographer, and founder of Wired magazine. Most importantly, he invented the 1,000 true fans theory.
That the numbers that you need to actually get a living are very small. And I call those people that are going to be most valuable to you true fans, because the true fans are fans that will purchase anything that you produce.
This theory is crucial, and here's why. Most people think that you need millions of true fans in order to make a living, but you don't. You only need 1,000. Here, let me show you what I mean. Let's take something that a lot of influencers sell. T-shirts. If you were to sell a t-shirt for $20 and 1,000 people bought that t-shirt, that's $20,000 in revenue. You do that once a season, about 4 times a year, and that's $80,000. Not bad at all. That's more than most people's full-time income. Another popular method is Patreon. Let's say you got 1,000 of your most hardcore fans to pay you $5 a month. That's $60,000 a year. Again, not bad. Let's say you're into fitness and you put out a workout program for $50. And then 1,000 of your most hardcore fans buy that product. That's $50,000. What I'm explaining to you is what every single entrepreneur on YouTube is doing to make a living. They're utilizing their 1,000 true fans to support them so they can continue doing what they love. This theory will completely change your business trajectory. This is the secret to making a living doing what you actually love. Without it, I wouldn't have built a multi-million-dollar business, and my students wouldn't have been able to quit their jobs and live life doing what they're passionate about.
Technology allows us to have someone who's a creator, and that could be a writer, a filmmaker, a musician, a sculptor, photographer, anybody who's creating something. Technology allows us to actually interact with our customers directly. You don't need very many of those kinds of people, and by my calculation, for a single creator, you need about 1,000.
In order to make a living pursuing whatever it is you want to pursue, all you need to find are 1,000 true fans. Okay, so let's get into what exactly makes a true fan. Unlike a regular fan who may or may not buy your stuff every now and then, a true fan is a fan that will buy anything you produce. They love your free content so much, they'll buy any and every product or service you offer them. That's why it's crucial that you identify your true fans and make content specifically for them. Do so, and they'll reward you for it by being your most loyal customers. For example, think about every person who camps out for days outside Apple stores for the latest iPhone, or comes 10 hours early to a concert hall for their favorite musician. They can't contain their excitement even just talking about how much they love your product. That's a true fan. Basically, your true fans digitally camp outside to be the first ones to buy your stuff. You want to identify your true fans and make products for them because they are the lifeline of your business. Now, if finding 1,000 true fans sounds daunting, think about it like this. There are 7 billion people in the world. All you have to do is find 1,000 people out of 7 billion to create a valuable product for. Once you do, your business is set for life. It's that simple. The thing is, you're lucky to be alive right now, because before the internet came along, this was nearly impossible to achieve. If you weren't a major cable network, news publication, or media company, there was no way for you to reach 100, much less 1,000 people interested in what you have to offer. But with the internet, getting 1,000 true fans is very achievable. That is, if you take the right steps. Most people have no idea that making a living while following your passion is as easy as getting 1,000 true fans. But even if they did know that, there are 2 significant questions they need answers to first. Number 1, how do you get 1,000 people to fall in love with your stuff? And number 2, where do you even find these people? Before I go on, I want you to try something. Scour the internet to find the answers to these questions. See if you can find anybody offering a step-by-step framework to help you get to those 1,000 true fans. If you do, you're probably going to find something like this, which looks helpful at a glance, but it's actually not. You can read it for yourself. Even this 20-step process looks promising, but you'll notice that they don't actually answer those 2 questions I mentioned before. The point here is this. It's pretty common knowledge that 1,000 true fans is what you need to succeed, but there's no framework that effectively teaches you how to get there. Until now, that is. 10 years ago, my business partner and I figured out the secret to garnering 1,000 true fans in the easiest, fastest way possible. The secret is YouTube. YouTube has opened up enormous opportunities for people to build careers around their passions without having to actually get a traditional job. For the first time in history, you don't need to invest tons of money in some gigantic media channel to reach a massive audience. You can literally take your phone, record a 4-minute video talking about something that happened in your life, and hundreds of thousands, even millions of people can watch it. 10 years ago, there wasn't an easy way to get people to watch your short film. Today, you can upload anything you can imagine, and there will be people out there who would love to watch it. Even things that didn't seem profitable, like playing video games or talking about makeup or giving fashion advice, can attract 1,000 true fans on YouTube. And those true fans enable YouTubers to live a fantastic and fulfilling lifestyle. Wake up whenever you want, work on whatever you want, and spend time with whoever you want. Why? Because you're a YouTuber.
I was really happy as a working editor at the beginning of my career, and I was really excited about opportunities, growing and making great money. But at some point I stopped growing, and with YouTube I rediscovered that passion that initially got me to want to be a filmmaker?
I have more time to explore other things in life, like travel. I've been traveling a lot because you can now. I've been living comfortably and just being able to explore more passions and hobbies, that comes with the time and freedom.
Imagine logging into your account. You see your last video got 500,000 views in under 72 hours. You tell yourself, that's not too bad. That's about $500 in ad revenue so far, and $20,000 from the brand who sponsored the video. You go walk your dog, and by the time you come back, it's at $650,000. You grab dinner with your friends and cover the bill without even glancing at the check, because money isn't something you worry about anymore. All from a few days of work on something you are actually passionate about. So let's address the elephant in the room. You're probably thinking there's no chance you can get paid that much for a brand deal.
I absolutely did not know that you can get thousands of dollars for brand deals, minute brand deals, 30-second brand deals. Absolutely not. No.
I feel like we knew that there was people out there who were making a hefty income, but I think we just assumed that most people made enough just to kind of pay the bills, and it wasn't a lot more than you'd be making at like a day-to-day job.
Never in a million years would I have thought, if you just made YouTube videos, you could make $20,000 in 2 weeks. That's kind of a ridiculous sentence.
Trust me, that sounded unbelievable to me at first too. And then this happened.
We just want to give a shout out to our friends over at Combat Gentlemen.
We made $10,000 from this brand deal. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to Loot Crate before December 19th to receive your own exclusive licensed Batman collectible. We made $12,000 from this brand deal.
Shout out to FanDuel for helping us get that helicopter.
And $30,000 from this brand deal. And to be frank, that's only scratching the surface. There's also Patreon, selling merchandise, selling digital products. There's so many ways outside of ads to build your business. We'll get to the specifics in another video. You might feel like all of this is impossible when you're starting out with 0 subscribers, but there's something you need to deeply internalize. Success is not about getting lucky. If you approach this systematically, with that same exact formula that's worked for me and tons of other creators, you can do this too. Because if YouTube success weren't repeatable, if it weren't teachable, we wouldn't have success stories like these.
An average brand deal would probably run $8,000 for a quick, like 30-second to a minute integration. I just had to talk about something for 30 seconds. It's crazy, yeah. Like that should not be a thing.
What I have to do is I have to do a 5 to 7 second shout out at the beginning of the video. The video is usually like 10 to 20 minutes long, so somewhere in the...
Hey Cursor,